Robertson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. There is a reason why the Cabinet Manual has strict rules in place about the declarations of conflicts of interest. That's because New Zealand taxpayers expect that when ministers go about their business, particularly when they go overseas, that they will do so in a way that is fair, that is good value for money, and that will not in any way advantage them or anyone that they know. Mr Speaker, it is my view, and I believe would be the view of most New Zealanders, that Judith Collins taking a trip paid for by the taxpayer to the Shanghai office of a company in which her husband is one of only 3 directors, going to that office, having her photograph taken, having those photographs appear on their website, and that website saying that she was endorsing their products constitutes a breach of the Cabinet Office Manual. It constitutes a conflict of interest, which John Key today says that's no problem to him. Well, I say to him, release that advice. Release that advice today, because for most New Zealanders, Judith Collins' actions are a clear conflict of interest. And it's not as if, Mr Speaker, this visit to their office, the Aurovita office in Shanghai, is Judith Collins' only action in this regard. She also opened the Auckland office of Aurovita in 2013. Her husband went on the board in 2012. This is also, Mr Speaker, the organisation Aurovita that donated over $55,000 to the National Party in 2011. $55,000. So Judith Collins, knowing all of that, goes to this office and promotes the products of that company. That is a conflict of interest. Judith Collins is not above the rules, Mr Speaker. She's not above the law. This national government might be arrogant enough to think they're above the rules and above the law, but they're not. New Zealanders want to know that when ministers go overseas, that is taxpayer money well spent. What they have seen here, Mr Speaker, is a minister prepared to flout what a conflict of interest is to most people. But, Mr Speaker, this company is not just one that Judith Collins has a deep involvement in. This company is also one that has reaches far into the National Party. I will table at the end of this speech further information from the Aurovita website that makes clear that when Aurovita sponsored a group of business people from China to come to New Zealand in 2012, they met with Peter Goodfellow on the website, identified by them as the, quote, National Party chairman, to discuss the exciting opportunity of extensively developing a foundation for bilateral collaborations. That is Peter Goodfellow as the president of the National Party meeting in that position, not in his role as a businessman apparently, but as the president of the National Party to help extend the relationship with this company Aurovita. What I can also tell the House, Mr Speaker, is that Mr Goodfellow's company Sanfords supplies fish products to Aurovita. So we now have a situation where the president of the National Party, meeting in that position, giving an endorsement effectively to the relationship between that company and New Zealand, is also supplying products and benefiting from that. So here we have a company where a senior cabinet minister's husband is on the board. He's on the board. He's going about his business as a director in a way that will benefit him and benefit that company. The minister goes to China, appears in photographs, has a statement that she is endorsing this company, opens their office, and we have donations to the party. The National Party is donkey deep with their cronies once again here, and there are questions to answer for Judith Collins and John Key about whether they think it is acceptable for this level of conflict of interest. This is Pansy Wong all over again.
Tim McIntyre.
Mr Speaker, what a dreadful start to the year it has been for the beleaguered Labour opposition and their oleaginous leader du jour, Mr David Cunliffe. No wonder the heads were down on the opposition benches and they couldn't even pretend to be interested or supportive as he was putting questions to the Prime Minister this afternoon. This is the member for Herne Bay $2.5 million duoppers who is trying to pretend to the nation at large that he's a man of the people, that he's got the interests of the public at heart, that he understands the common man, or whatever the term might be these days. Half of the Labour opposition looked to be suffering severe pain while he was speaking, and the other half looked like possums trapped in the headlights. Most of them didn't want him. You've got to give them credit for that. At least they understood that. They tried to tell their members, they tried to tell the unions, but those other parties in their overall cluster said, no, we know best and you've got to have him. And he's proving to be even worse than they feared he would be. Let's see what that veteran Herald columnist, John Armstrong, who's been around for a long time and who knows the scene, had to say today. Under the headline, 2 Cunliffe mea culpas in 4 days, smacks of clumsiness. John Armstrong wrote that he cannot seem to stop his fingers hovering over the self-destruct button is no surprise to anyone who has watched him for any length of time. What a devastating comment that is from a man of John Armstrong.